And here we are, our final evening of Instagram Lives here on Super Channel Heart and Home as part of our amazing Christmas movie lineup. It's been so much fun, and we're wrapping it up tonight with two of my favorites. I had a chance to chat with Jill Wagner last year for one of her Christmas movies, and tonight she's going to be joined in just a few minutes with her co-star in Bringing Christmas Home, Paul Greene. We all know him and love him. Of course, all the Hardys cannot wait to see Paul Greene here. But Jill is a Christmas movie staple, so I'm so happy that they're both going to be joining me here to talk about Bringing Christmas Home. This is a movie that is full of kind of, I don't know, thinking about bygone days and warmth and kind of giving ourselves, Jill, there you go. And there's Paul. I've invited both of them. They will accept. Pop on. I'm feeling very festive in my Christmas sweater. I thought I would wear a Christmas sweater, sir. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going so great. I'm wearing my festive Christmas sweater. Jill, so nice to see you again. I don't feel like it's Christmas without Jill Wagner in my life. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I wasn't even thinking I should have put on my ugly Christmas sweater.
Well, we will talk.
I'm jealous.
We will talk about ugly Christmas sweaters in just a little bit, but we have to talk about Bringing Christmas Home. This movie just filled my heart. It's filled with so much nostalgia, really, of a bygone era. Handwritten letters, how people used to communicate. I'm wondering from both of you, what's something that you wish we still had in our lives from a bygone era? Paul, let's start with you.
Wow. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Hi, Paul.
I love those moments because it's like a reunion for you guys when you jump on these IG lives. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's yeah, we don't get to see each other enough. That's for sure.
No, I know. I always send him. I find myself communicating with Paul through Instagram, and I send him little like stories and stupid jokes, and like we have our own little conversation.
They're
like
true.
That.
They're wags. They're so odd. The things are just,
okay, so you've got Instagram covered. Do you still write letters? Like, do you put pen to paper anymore, Paul?
No, I miss fax machines. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I used to. I know, don't laugh. I used to like watching the thing come out and then watch it. And I had a fax relationship in the 90s with a girl, and I misread the tone of it because I guess it was like, I thought there was more to the relationship than there really was. And it was fax, but when I get a fax.
Say mine stuff is weird. Like, you miss fax machines. No one misses fax machines.
What do you miss?
Jill, what do you miss?
Actually, I'm just saying this because you said letters, and I actually have a pen pal with a 90-year-old man. Oh, this is so weird. And I'm not cheating on my husband, I swear. But he is as someone that loves my movies and has been a supporter of mine. And he started writing me, and there's something about the tone in which he writes his letters, and I just find that there's so much, and I'm saying romanticism, not with this man. There's just so much romanticism in reading a letter, opening a letter, holding it in your hand. The way people speak, I find, is much differently in letters than in texts. And maybe because there's something very romantic when you're writing it as well. I mean, I write letters every single year to my family. That's part of our Christmas traditions. But and I have a little book that I write in. It's our Christmas book, and everybody that stays here writes in the book before they leave, and so we can just kind of see where everybody's heads are at that Christmas, and I can go back and read them.
I remember this from Jill Wagner from last year. She always gives the best tips for family togetherness, for things to do around family, for nostalgia and remembering and reminding us what's important. Both of you have such a strong tradition with Christmas movies. Paul, I think I read this is your 14th Christmas movie.
Oh my God.
It's something. It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. I think it's 12. As far as I know, it's like 12 of these kind. There might be some other. But yes,
And
it's
Jill,
we did 12. We did 12 days of Christmas movies. So today is day 3, where every day leading up to Christmas, I've kind of given 12 back behind the scenes, and then the next one was 11 behind the scenes. So so there's 12, but 14 in the future, maybe.
I'm sure, I have no doubt. And Jill, I think that you have had a Christmas movie every year since 2015.
I'm glad you know that, because I have no idea. I don't even know how many like family friendly movies I've filmed at this point. It feels like I've been doing it since I was in my 20s. Maybe I have, but
I'm wondering from both of you, you know, people go back to these movies, not just at Christmas time, but people watch them any time of year to feel those feelings, to feel warm and fuzzy and good. And what does it mean to you knowing that you're bringing that kind of joy and that kind of escape and just those, you know, those good warm feelings to people with the movies you're making? Jill, let's start with you.
yeah, you know, when I first started these, I don't think I really understood that. I hadn't met the fan base yet. So I think I'd been coming off of, you know, shows like Teen Wolf, and it's just a different fan base. And all of these, whether it be Hallmark or GAC or wherever the fans are, they are so dedicated, and it means so much to them. And so by doing the conventions and just by meeting them, I mean, I had a lot of people out to my farm just this past year to do a charity event, just to hear their stories and how much it means to them, and just to know you're a part of making someone happy. I think in any little way, whether it be what we do, what Paul and I do, whether what you do, whatever it is, I think there's something very special about that. And it's a gift in itself. I know to me and my family, it's a gift in itself. Just to be a part of a celebration, you know, happy times. Gosh, don't we need them?
We certainly do. And Paul, not only the Christmas movie, but also your time on When Calls the Heart and the Hearties and the fan base that stays with you from that show. Give me a little inside scoop from you about that relationship that you have with these people who just love the joy that you've brought to their lives.
Well, I think there's so much, there's so many challenges in the world, whether you're, you know, through the news or through what you get notified on your phone every 5 seconds. I read somewhere that the amount of information we get in a day is equivalent to what our grandparents got in their entire lifetime in terms of data. So just imagine for our little brains, or some of us have bigger brains. Jill has a very big brain.
I was like, I worked very hard to make my brain very big. I work out in the gym every morning.
You do. Oh, we all know. And so there's so much of that information, and some of it incredibly negative, I find, with the news. And so I find these movies are a bit of like a medicine or a healing balm, to a bit of an antidote to that. So people watch them to escape a little bit. I mean, there's other ways. Just turn off the news, then you don't even have to do that. But if you decide to listen to the news, you could also turn on these movies to kind of bring your nervous system back down into like some calm, because we live in such a amped up, like stressful world with so much information being sent at us constantly that we're always in fight or flight. And I think the reason that people like these movies is because there's a predictable ending. They can actually relax into like a restful kind of chill place, and they don't have to be on like their like there's no tiger chasing.
And I feel like, as I used to say, these are modern day fairy tales, right? It's not the Cinderella but it is a fairy tale. So for me as a woman, I can take myself out of whatever is going on with my life right now, be the girl in the movie, and, you know, have this amazing journey. And it's a fairy tale, essentially, is what we're doing, modern day fairy tale.
You guys have worked together on another fairy tale. It was Christmas in Evergreen, Tidings of Joy. I think it was 2015. I think it was back
the
then.
First meeting of Jill and Paul.
First meeting of Jill and Paul. All right. So all these years later, is it easier to come to set when you know each other, Or I always wonder when actors have worked together before and they have this relationship, this kind of vibe between them, is it harder to like shed that and pretend to be different people on set, or is that the craft?
We didn't really spend much time the first one because the way that the Evergreen series works is, you know, the previous actors from the movie before have a cameo, and sometimes that's like a few hours. So we just had this one little quick scene together, and there was some things happened that day, and they popped, and then Jill popped out, and then when we worked together, we just became fast friends. Like, but we didn't really know each other. We knew people that knew each other. I'd been excited to work with Jill.
Oh, you're my. I think you were one of the first people that I met within the Hallmark family, because I got sit next to you. I went to an event by myself, and I got sit next to Paul, and I just remember like how nice he was. He was just like, hey, you know, my name's Paul, and like it was just really, really like a nice person. And I was like, well, thank God I got sat next to him, because I didn't know anybody, so I was, you know.
I'm gonna tell you something that I think. I watch all these Christmas movies. I get to do these IG lives, and it's so good for my heart and my soul. And I will tell you, I believe that every single actor cast in these movies are legitimately nice people.
Yeah, I do.
Like I think that is part of the casting, is that you're legitimately good-hearted, nice people.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part.
For the most part. I have to tell you a little story. Somebody on here just was like, I miss Jill with Christopher Paloha. So we did.
Oh.
We did, and I get that. I spent some time with Palaha, and I really like him too. I understand why everyone loves him. And I went to Jill's farm to play some music, and we helped raise some money for a veteran charity. And if I could tell you the amount of times when we did this line where people took pictures of us, and it took quite a long time, but I've never experienced, and of course she's my favorite lioness as well, which if you guys haven't seen Lioness, you have to see it. But so every new group of people that came up to take pictures, I'd be like, oh, these guys probably like my movies. And almost like not a single person had seen my movies. They were all there to see Jill. That's not
true. That's not true. He had tons of, especially the ladies.
Listen, Paul, I'll tell you, you are a very, very big deal, Paul Greene. But then there's Jill Wagner.
Then there's Jill Wagner. Then there's the Wags.
Jill Wagner, and it's just different category.
It's true. It's true. There's no
female and one's male.
It's an entirely different category.
I would say you're in a different category. You know what I will brag on Paul, because I basically drug him out to my farm, and I was like, please, will you just do this? And you know, there's a lot of people that can be like, well, no, I got to get paid for this. I got to have this. I got to have that. You know, it's a really kind of fickle business that we are in. But once Paul found out like what it was for Special Operations Warrior Foundation. He's like, absolutely. He went out there and stood. I mean, I don't know, was it 8 hours that we just stood there without a bathroom break and like just smiled and talked to people?
It took a long time that Paul was saying. You're saying it was 8 hours?
Oh, we stood there for pretty much all day. I don't know if it was 8 hours, but it was from the time we walked out there. I mean, we just stood there, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that he was such a trooper, because this wasn't his event, right? He wasn't throwing it, but he was there to support, and he was so kind and nice to everybody. It was called the Patriotic Pick, and it was something that my husband and I wanted to do for the Special Operations families out there. So Paul was so generous and smile, and not only that, like loaned us his voice. He went up and he played for everybody and was just like what a true star, true, like, and just great person, talented. Like I love me some Paul Greene though.
For everybody joining us, we're talking about bringing Christmas home. It is part of our Christmas lineup on Super Channel Heart and Home, and it's available for you on demand whenever your heart can possibly make up enough room for bringing Christmas home, because it is full of heart. I've been wrapping these up with some quick rapid fire Christmas questions. Are you guys up for a little rapid fire game here?
Sure.
All right.
Yes. Oh, just before you do, did you know that I got to play a song that I wrote with a vet called Bringing Christmas Home that's in this movie. It's a very last like few minutes of the movie.
I was
and Jill was
listening to it on YouTube, sir.
so were you? Cool. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's the first movie or the first time I've got a chance to have a song like in a movie like that. And so
I didn't know you wrote it with a vet. I didn't know that.
My producer, he's the one, lyrically, and like I came up with the melody and then some of the lyrics, but together he was telling me about, how we were in the movie, we're talking about your character was saying, we're stuck overseas and the Christmas lights. They're like you set up this kind of experience of Christmas, and I actually worked that into the lyrics, but he also had experienced that being away at Christmas, deployed, and what that feeling was. So some of his kind of feeling came into the song with me,
and just worked so well. That's awesome. The movie. I love the scene with the ornament in the store, and it says, "A crack proves how strong something can be." I thought that was a really, really beautiful, beautiful sentiment in the movie.
I love that too. That was probably one of my favorite lines. I remember saying that when he says it. I told the director, I was like, this is one of my favorite lines because it's so important for us to remember that as human beings.
Yeah.
We can be flawed, but other people, by the way, find our cracks and our flaws as beautiful things. We just, you know what I mean? I think everybody's so hard on themselves and they're like, well, no, I'm broken and there's no fixing me. Well, sometimes you don't need to be fixed.
You're so
sometimes
right.
You're just beautiful, just is the way. I mean, I live in an old house from the 1900s. Almost everything is broken in here, but it is so beautiful and it is so perfect for me. You know what I mean? So I think we just all need to remember that. And I loved that line. Yeah.
And because this, as the Heart and Home and the Super Channel is Canadian, that's that Leonard Cohen quote that says there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Yeah, I love that.
It's my favorite. There's forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. It's just like that's what that scene reminded me of too.
Preach, Leonard Cohen. All right, some rapid fire Christmas because I do have to let you go, but you've been so generous with your time. Thank you both so much.
Oh, we're honored.
Make sure you're watching Bringing Christmas Home on Super Channel. All right, Paul, start with you. What is your holiday must-watch movie?
I know what you better say.
The Lioness Christmas movie, where James Jordan and Morgan Freeman come together. It's like everyone's there. Nicole Kidman's there.
Yeah, I don't know if you missed that or not.
The highest budget ever of a Christmas movie. And it's a murder mystery Christmas movie. I gotta go with, I love Love Actually, but it's so awkward to watch with my mom because of the fake, the lighting, the porn scene, and there's just too much swearing for my mom.
There's a lot of swearing in Love Actually. There's a lot of swearing.
I know, but I really like it. So I'm like, I can't watch it with my mom. So, my mom ends up watching like Hallmark or something, and I just kind of, she's visiting, so she likes things that make, there's horses in it or Jesus. Like not actually Jesus, but where they talk about Jesus. So those, I'm limited to those. Jesus.
What else do you need for Christmas? Horses and Jesus. Jill, what is your favorite holiday movie?
Is it called The Christmas Carol? The one with
Christmas Carol?
That's the ghost. That's the one that is like classically, it's literally my family. Yeah. It's like,
the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. Okay, are you a toss the gifts in a wrapping in like a bag with some tissue paper, or wrap it meticulously, Jill?
Oh, meticulously.
Oh,
yeah. I have like ribbons and the things and all of the color coordinated, and I just Well, when I was little, I used to want to be a professional gift wrapper. That's what I told everybody I wanted to be when I grew up. So
that's aspirational.
Yeah,
actually.
I know.
Might be a little bit of a seasonal job, but
I know. My dad was like, we got to find you something else.
There's 11 months in the year, or 12 months in the year. You can't just work for one of them. Paul Greene, in a Christmas bag with tissue paper or wrapping?
The bigger the bag, the better.
Yeah.
So I can put the most gifts and just like staple the top. And
you mean like one bag for all the gifts? People have to pick them out?
Yeah, they have to fight. And then as they're going through the staples, they get cut. It's just more of a sport.
Yeah, just start throwing that tissue paper around. Okay, we know my answer here because I'm fully adorned. But
Yes.
ugly Christmas sweater, yes or no, Paul?
Hard no.
Hard
Hard
no.
pass.
Joanne,
I'll do it. Absolutely, I'll do it.
Listen, this even has a bell on it.
I like things with bells.
Because
I like
they're made
all
of
that.
wool. Because they're just too hot. I just get hot when I look at you with the collar so high.
Yeah,
I start to
not a
panic.
lot of
So he wants to cut it down to where it's like mid chest.
Okay, what is your favorite once a year holiday treat, Jill?
Mine is called snow, where I think some people call it like puppy something, where you take Czech cereal and put chocolate around it and then put it all in powdered sugar.
Right.
I can only make it at Christmas only because otherwise I would eat it all the time.
What about for you, Paul?
My mom makes these chocolate covered pretzels that are insane with like big chunks of salt, and they're like dark chocolate. But our tradition is mainly like hot apple cider, and then we put bourbon in it. But also these big, the big cinnamon sticks, and then all the mulling spices, and let it cook till it goes down a bit. Yeah. And then you add a little bit more water in it, and just sipping that,
and more
you get super
bourbon.
And the bourbon.
Don't want to cook the bourbon out.
We always go to the back of the liquor cabinet come Christmas time.
Yeah. I love that
and
drink.
And just finally, one last one. This has been controversial. So be careful. I'm just saying, people have strong opinions. Real tree or artificial tree? Paul, you guys are like
real, 100% real.
Oh, for sure, real.
This is real.
Ooh,
this is tree.
Love real. Yeah, we have go out on our land and cut one down, and then I get another one. So we have 2 real ones.
Oh my.
Not fan of taking them down, though. I will say that. I am jealous when you have to start taking them down and other people can just like put them in the basement with like a sheet over them. And I'm like, well, I'll see you next year. I'm still going to be taking these lights off. And
I'm still going to be sweeping up pine needles. I'm jealous of the pre-lit tree because my lighting job is not bad. My lighting job is.
Well, you know what happens to me, and this has happened twice now. I get done with almost all of my lights and then one strand goes out because I live in an old house. Something's going on. Like I'm blowing circuits, breakers, all these things are happening, and it's happened to me twice. And each time I want to throw the whole tree out. I don't, but I want to.
It's a thought. It's a thought. Here's my thought right now. Run, don't walk to watch Bringing Christmas Home. It's available on demand for you right now. It stars Jill Wagner and Paul Greene, who are obviously just 2 incredibly delightful people. I thank you both so much for your time on this Friday before Christmas. All the more generous considering the day. And as I said, my Christmas isn't complete without you. So thank you so much. Merry, Merry Christmas to your friends, family, and all that you love. And enjoy some movies over the holidays.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye.